This is the television studio where NIC broadcasts originate. By the time presenters arrive at the studio, they have spent 3 months finalizing content outlines, participating in phone conferences, selecting videotape segments, creating graphics, and talking through content points that will be delivered on air in a conversational format, guided by a moderator. I often serve in that role. If you are apprehensive about training on television, don't be. Almost all NIC first-time presenters have little or no television experience, but they do have valuable experience as leaders in corrections and law enforcement and are informed and passionate about the relevant issues. That's what matters. Translating that into an effective broadcast comes with guidance and assistance from the studio production staff. The studio team is your safety net throughout the process. Let's take a few minutes to outline your role as part of the content development and presentation team and overview your preparation process. Your role as a content developer and presenter is to 1. Draw upon your professional experience to identify pertinent issues, challenges, successful strategies, evidence-based practices, research, and any other information that might be included in program content. Secondly, to work collaboratively with other team members and the studio production staff to finalize program content outlines and determine graphic elements, videotape segments, participant activities, and other production elements that will enhance content for the broadcast. Thirdly, be part of the on-air presentation team that delivers information in a conversational format through interviews, small group and large group discussions, and audience participation facilitated by a moderator. Preparation for the broadcast takes about 3 months and involves 4 steps. First, during the initial planning session, you will work with a large group to identify the target audience, brainstorm ideas, and identify a variety of issues, challenges, and solutions that might be included in the program. Then you will help select content that is most critical and divide it into 4 to 6 program segments for the 3-hour broadcast. Secondly, working in a small group at the planning session, you will be assigned to 1 or 2 content segments to further develop and refine. The goal is to complete a content outline for each segment by the end of the planning meeting. Thirdly, after the planning session, you will continue working in a small group via phone conferences and email exchanges to finalize content for your 1 or 2 assigned content segments. With the help of your small group members, the studio producer and moderator, you will develop a detailed content outline called a program rundown that will include all your talking points as well as other production elements that will enhance content. And that includes graphics, videotape segments, and any participant activities. Fourthly, and finally, you will have 3 complete rehearsals prior to the broadcast. The first will be a phone conference talk-through of each program segment with small content groups. The second will be a complete talk-through of the program content, including all video pieces during the morning of rehearsal day in Spokane. The third will be a full walkthrough of the program in studio in the afternoon of rehearsal day to get a sense of the staging, the flow of the conversation talking points, and how graphics and tape elements will be incorporated into the program. Remember, these programs are conversational. They follow a detailed outline of talking points, not a verbatim script. So it's more like a detailed but extemporaneous conversation. Typically, a 3-hour broadcast is divided into 4 to 6 content segments. Segment 1 is usually an overview that focuses on relevant data, why the issue is critical, and why it is being addressed now. Segments 2 through 4 focus on key content areas drawn from the planning session brainstorm, reflecting critical questions, challenges, successful strategies, and evidence-based practices. The final segment typically addresses next steps, action planning, and resources for additional information, training, and technical support. And speaking of resources, each program includes a participant guide which highlights objectives and key content points for each segment, as well as links to additional information that is not covered in the broadcast. As you develop content for your segment, you will want to pay attention to time. There is not a lot of it, so content needs to be critical and concise. Here is the time breakdown. A 3-hour broadcast includes a 15-minute break halfway through and an additional 15 minutes dedicated to the open with bios, program objectives, general housekeeping, and closing credits. That leaves 2.5 hours for content. Typically, that 2.5 hours is divided into 4 to 6 segments of 30 to 40 minutes each. Every segment includes 10 minutes for an introduction and segment objectives at the top, and time for Q&A and checking in with the simultaneous online chat at the end. So content time for each segment is actually 20 to 30 minutes, including tape segments and audience activities for training programs. So again, time is limited. But remember, links to additional information can be included in the participant guide. Once your small group has identified 6 to 10 key talking points for your segment, with the help of the studio producer, you will determine how you can most effectively deliver each of the content points via television. Your options for content delivery include small group or large group discussions set up and guided by the moderator, inclusion of graphic elements for data and other key information, pre-produced video vignettes which highlight issues and spark discussion, taped interview segments with practitioners, correctional leaders, or other experts, videotape segments featuring promising practices, and audience activities. Remember, the studio production team will help you identify and develop all of these production elements well in advance of the program. When you walk into this studio on rehearsal day, you will be familiar with the detailed outline or rundown you helped develop. You will have already talked through your program segments on the phone with the moderator, and your final walk-through rehearsal will help you feel confident and ready for the program on broadcast day. NIC and its television production team look forward to working with you throughout this process.